Hello, and today we're going to be looking at my gold and silver collection that I've been building up for over a year and a half. This collection is composed of about 2 gold coins and 129 silver coins, many of them being from different countries, but the massive bulk of them being from the UK. First coin I would like to show is a 1790 Spade Guinea. It's composed of 22 karat gold and was minted under the reign of King George III. Second coin I would like to show is this 1925 half sovereign. This coin is composed of 22 karat gold and was minted under the reign of King George V. And from now on until the end of the video, I will be going in date order for the British coins. So I will be going oldest to newest coin. First silver coin I would like to show is this Henry III 1 pence coin. It's been cut in half, so that means it's actually half a penny. You can see there about half the portrait of King Henry, and you can see the scepter just on the left of the coin itself. Second coin I would like to show is 1495 groat. And there you can see the portrait of King Henry VII. This coin is also 925 silver, same with that half penny. Next coin I would like to show is this 1547 posthumous issue groat. This coin has the portrait of King Henry VIII, but was actually minted under the reign of King Edward VI. This coin was also what we call a debased coin, so the silver content was lowered. Not really sure what to it was lowered, but it has been lowered. As you can see, the coin doesn't really look that silvery. Next coin I would like to show is this Edward VI shilling. This was minted in 1551 and holds the Y mint mark. There you can see the portrait of Edward VI with the Roman numerals for 12 next to him, which means shilling. Next coin is this 1554 groat, minted under the reign of Queen Mary. There you can see the remnants of the portrait of Queen Mary. Next coin is this 1582 half groat from the reign of Queen Elizabeth. And on the other side you can see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth, as well as the denomination, which is 2, or 2 pence for half groat. Next coin on the list is this 1605 shilling from the reign of King James I. Next coin is this 1630 penny from the reign of King Charles I. And then there's his portrait. Next coin is this Commonwealth of England half groat. These coins were minted from 1649 to 1660. And here on the other side you can see the Shield of England. Next coin is this 1663 crown. And here on the other side you can see the portrait of King Charles II. Next coin is this 1686 2 pence from the reign of King James II. And here's the portrait of King James II. Next few coins were minted under the reign of King William III. This one here is a half crown, and here's his portrait. And this here is a 1696 6 pence, and here's his portrait. And this here is also a 1696 6 pence, and his portrait. And the next coin is a 1711 Queen Anne shilling, and here's her portrait. Next coin is also a shilling, but minted in 1720 under the reign of King George I. And here's his portrait. Next coin I have is this 1757 6 pence, minted under the reign of King George II. And here is his portrait. Next coin I have is also a 6 pence, but minted in 1787 under the reign of King George III. And here is King George III's portrait. Next coin I have is this 1819 crown from the reign of King George III. And here is his portrait for the time. And the next coin I have is this 1820 shilling from the reign of King George III. And here is his portrait. And the next coin I have is this shilling from the reign of King George IV. The side of the date has actually been worn down completely to make it into a love token. And here's the exact same coin, but with the date from 1825. And there's George IV's portrait. Next coin I have is this 1834 William IV shilling. And here is his portrait. Next coin I have is this 1845 crown from the reign of Queen Victoria. There you can see her young head portrait with the date. Next coin is this 1871 shilling from the reign of Queen Victoria. And there is her young head portrait. Next coin I have is this 1872 Gothic Florin. And here is a young crowned portrait. And the next one I've got is an 1874 Gothic Florin. And that's her young crowned portrait. Next coin I have is this 1883 shilling from the reign of Queen Victoria. And there's her young head portrait. And the next coin is this more updated shilling from 1887. And there you can see her Jubilee portrait. And the next coin is this 1889 double florin. And there you can see her Jubilee portrait. Next coin I have is this 1907 shilling. This coin was minted under the reign of King Edward VII. And here's another Edward VII shilling from 1910 in slightly better condition. And here's Edward's portrait. And as you can see, it was also converted into a love token. Next coins I have are these 1915 half crowns minted under the reign of King George V. And here's his portrait. And here's a second 1915 half crown. And here's his portrait. Just another coin that I missed out, a 1907 Edward VII florin. And there's his portrait. And the next few coins I have are these 1916, 1917 and 1919 Three Pences. Next coin I have is this 1920 shilling from the reign of King George V. These coins from now on won't be 925 silver and are actually 50% silver. And there's his portrait. And here's another 1920 shilling. There's his portrait. Here's a 1922 shilling. And there's his portrait. And here's a 1922 florin. And there's King George's portrait. Here's another 1922 florin. And there's King George's portrait. And the next coin I have is this 1924 shilling. And here's King George's portrait. And the next one is a 1926 shilling. And there is a more intact King George V portrait. And the next coin I have is this 1926 sixpence. With a really nice looking portrait. And the next coin is this 1928 shilling. And here is King George's portrait. And the next coin I have is this 1933 sixpence with a different design. And this is his portrait. And the next one is this 1934 shilling. And here's his portrait. Next coin is this 1935 florin. And this is his portrait. And the next one is this 1936 sixpence. And here's his portrait. And here are various 1920 and 1921 three pences. And George's various 1930s three pences. And the next few coins will be from George VI, and this is a florin from 1938. And here's his portrait. Here's a 1939 florin, and here's George's portrait. Here's a 1939 florin, and George's portrait. And this is another 1939 florin in slightly worse condition, and his portrait. And here's a 1939 Scottish shilling, and his portrait. And here's another 1939 Scottish shilling, and his portrait. Here's a 1941 Scottish shilling, and his portrait. Here's a 1941 florin, and his portrait. Here's the 1942 florin in significantly worse condition than every other one I own, and the portrait. And here's a 1942 florin, and George's portrait. And here's the 1942 florin. This is possibly my best condition pre-decimal coin. And George's portrait. Here's a 1943 florin. And George's portrait. Here's a 1944 English shilling. And George's portrait. And here's a 1946 half crown. And George's portrait. And a bunch of 1940s three pences. And here's a 1940 sixpence. And here's a pair of 1943 sixpences. That will conclude the first part of this video, being the English and British silver. The second part will be foreign silvers, such as world coins from America and Africa. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing. Goodbye.